Good evening, dear listeners. Imagine yourself nestled in a warm bed, wrapped in a soft blanket, drifting toward sleep as I, your quiet storyteller, guide you gently through a time when cold was not just a sensation but a living force, shaping the fates of those who faced it. If you love immersive tales that blend history with the pulse of human struggle, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Where are you listening from tonight? Let this story carry you to an age when the earth itself seemed to hold its breath, frozen in a relentless grip of ice. Close your eyes, and let the journey begin. The wind howls outside, a low, mournful wail that slips through the cracks of the cave's mouth, carrying with it the scent of snow and pine, sharp and biting, like a blade against your nostrils. You shift on the rough stone floor, feeling the uneven surface press into your back, the chill seeping through the thin layer of hides beneath you. Your breath forms faint clouds in the dim light, curling upward to mingle with the smoke from a small fire at the cave's center. The flames flicker, casting trembling shadows on the walls, jagged shapes that dance like spirits of the long-forgotten. It is a night in the heart of the last glacial maximum, some 20,000 years ago, when the world was locked in ice, and survival was a daily bargain with the elements. You are not alone. Around the fire, others huddle, their faces half-lit, eyes reflecting the glow like stars in a frozen sky. You are Kale, a young hunter of the clan, barely 20 winters old, your hands calloused from gripping a flint-tipped spear, your skin marked by the scratches of brambles and the burns of frost. The cold is your constant companion, a presence as familiar as your own heartbeat, yet tonight it feels heavier, as if the earth itself is pressing down on you. You pull the reindeer hide tighter around your shoulders, its coarse fur scratching against your neck, offering a fleeting warmth that does little to ease the ache in your bones. The fire crackles, spitting embers that glow briefly before fading into ash, and you listen to the sounds of the cave, the soft breathing of your kin, the distant drip of water from an icicle at the entrance, and the ever-present moan of the wind, like a beast prowling just beyond the light. "Will it ever end, Kale?" whispers Lyre, the elder woman seated across the fire, her voice soft but heavy with years. Her hands, gnarled as the roots of an ancient tree, work a piece of sinew, threading it through a bone needle to mend a torn hide. Her eyes, clouded yet sharp, meet yours, and you feel the weight of her question. Lyre has seen more winters than anyone, her stories woven into the clan's memory like threads in a tapestry. "The cold," she continues, her breath catching the firelight, "it takes and takes, but we endure. We always have." Her words linger, a mix of defiance and weariness, and you nod, though doubt gnaws at you like the hunger in your belly. The last glacial maximum, as later generations would call it, was a time when ice sheets stretched across much of the northern hemisphere, covering lands in a glittering, unyielding shroud. The world was colder by some 6 to 10 degrees Celsius than today, a fact etched into the bones of those who lived then, preserved in the sediment layers studied by modern scientists. In Europe, where you sit now in this imagined cave, the ice reached as far south as modern Germany, forcing humans like your clan to adapt or perish. You've heard Lyre speak of a time before, when the summers were longer, when herds of mammoth and reindeer roamed in numbers that seemed endless. Now, the herds are scarce, the winters endless, and every day is a dance with survival. You rise, careful not to disturb the others, and step toward the cave's entrance, drawn by a need to see the world beyond. The cold greets you like a slap, stinging your cheeks and tightening the skin across your knuckles. Outside, the landscape is a study in white and shadow. Snow blankets the ground, broken only by the dark silhouettes of pine trees, their branches heavy with frost. The sky is a deep, endless black, pierced by stars that glitter like chips of ice. You inhale, and the air is sharp, carrying the faint metallic tang of snow and the earthy musk of frozen soil. Somewhere in the distance, a wolf howls, its cry echoing through the valley, a reminder that you are not the only hunter in this frozen world. Kale, come back to the fire, calls Tora, your younger sister, her voice a mix of worry and command. At 15 winters, she is fierce, her dark hair braided tightly, her eyes bright with a fire that refuses to bow to the cold. She sits cross-legged, scraping a reindeer antler with a flint tool, shaping it into a harpoon point. The rhythmic scrape-scrape of her work is a steady counterpoint to the wind's wail, a sound that grounds you, pulling you back from the edge of the unknown. You smile faintly, returning to the fire's warmth, feeling the contrast between the biting cold outside and the fleeting heat within. Tora's hands move with purpose, each motion a small act of defiance against the world's cruelty. The fire is the heart of your clan, a fragile thread tying you to life. You've learned its secrets from Lyre, how to coax a spark from flint and pyrite, striking until your fingers ache, how to feed it with dry moss and twigs, then larger branches until it roars, how to bank it with stones to keep it smouldering through the night. The process is sacred, a ritual as vital as breathing. Without fire, there is no warmth, no cooked food, no protection from the predators that lurk in the dark. You glance at the small pile of wood near the cave wall, knowing it won't last the week. Tomorrow you'll venture out, braving the snow to gather more, your breath fogging as you drag branches through drifts that reach your knees. Food is another constant worry. Tonight the clan shares a meager meal, strips of dried reindeer meat, tough and chewy, with a faint smoky flavor that lingers on your tongue, a handful of frozen berries, their tartness sharp enough to make your mouth water, and a broth made from boiled bones, greasy and warm, sipped from a hollowed-out gourd. You savor the broth's heat as it slides down your throat, warming your chest, a brief reprieve from the cold that clings to you like a second skin. Lyre tells stories of feasts in her youth, great hunts where the clan felled a mammoth, its meat feeding them for weeks, its bones carved into tools, its hide sewn into shelter. Such abundance feels like a myth now, as distant as the stars. Kale, Tora says, pausing her work, tell me about the great beasts again. Her voice is soft, almost pleading, as if the story might summon warmth or hope. You hesitate, glancing at Lyre, who nods, her needle still moving. You settle beside Tora, the fire's heat brushing your face, and begin, your voice low and steady, weaving a tale you've heard from the elders. Long ago, before the ice grew so thick, the plains teemed with mammoths, their tusks curving like the crescent moon, their footsteps shaking the earth. We followed them, our spears sharp, our hearts brave. One hunt could feed us through a winter. You pause, letting the image settle, seeing Tora's eyes widen, her imagination painting the scene. The story is more than entertainment. It's a lifeline, a way to keep the clan's spirit alive. Archaeological records confirm these hunts. Spear points lodged in mammoth bones, found in sites across Europe, tell of a time when humans were both predator and prey in a world ruled by giants. Your clan, part of the Gravettian culture, as later scholars would name it, was skilled in survival, crafting tools from flint and bone, sewing hides with sinew, and painting the cave walls with ochre and charcoal to honor the spirits of the animals they hunted. These details, preserved in the earth, are the threads of your existence, woven into every task, every story. But the cold is relentless, and it shapes more than your body. It shapes your mind, your fears, your dreams. You've seen clan members lost to it. Old Bren, who wandered too far and was found frozen, his face peaceful as if sleeping. Young Mira, who fell through thin ice, her screams haunting your dreams. Each loss is a wound, yet it binds you closer to those who remain. You look at Tora, her hands still now, her face lit by the fire, and feel a surge of protectiveness. She is your reason to keep going, to face the cold, to hunt, to survive. Lyre sets aside her needle, her eyes distant. The spirits are restless, she murmurs, her voice like the rustle of dry leaves. The cold grows stronger, but there are whispers of a place, far to the south, where the ice retreats, where the herds still roam. Her words hang in the air, heavy with possibility. You've heard such whispers before, tales of warmer lands, of valleys untouched by frost, but they feel like dreams, too fragile to trust. Yet Liar's voice carries weight, and you see the others lean closer, their faces a mix of hope and doubt. What kind of place? Torah asks, her voice eager, breaking the silence. Liar smiles faintly, her fingers tracing the edge of her hide. A place where the sun lingers, where the ground is soft with grass, not ice. But the journey is long, and the path is not kind. She pauses, her eyes meeting yours, and you feel a spark of something. Fear, perhaps, or anticipation. The idea of leaving the cave, your only home, is daunting, yet the thought of staying, of facing another winter with dwindling food and wood, is no less terrifying. You lie back, the stone cold against your spine, and stare at the cave ceiling, where faint traces of ochre paintings, bison, horses, handprints, seem to move in the firelight. The wind outside grows louder, its howl a challenge, a call to action. You wonder what lies beyond the valley, beyond the ice. The clan has survived here for generations, but survival is not enough. You crave something more, a spark of hope to carry you through the dark. Liar's words echo in your mind, a seed planted, and you sense that this whisper of a warmer land will change everything. As the fire burns low, casting long shadows, you close your eyes, the cold a weight on your chest, the warmth of the clan a fragile shield. Tomorrow you'll face the snow, the hunger, the endless fight to live another day. But for now you rest, the story of the great beasts and the promise of a distant land lingering like the last note of a song. What will you choose, Kale? To stay, or to chase a dream through the ice? Thank you for joining me in this frozen world, dear listeners. If this tale stirred your imagination, please leave a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for the next chapter of our journey. What would you do in Kale's place? Stay or seek the unknown? But the whisper of that distant land is spreading, and its call will soon reach others, stirring hearts and setting paths in motion. The fire in the cave burns low, its embers pulsing like the last breaths of a dying star, casting a faint orange glow across the faces of your clan. You, Kale, sit cross-legged on the stone floor, the coarse reindeer hide beneath you prickling your thighs, its chill seeping through despite the warmth of the flames. The air smells of smoke and damp earth, a heavy scent that clings to your nostrils, mingling with the faint musk of unwashed bodies huddled close. Outside, the wind howls, a relentless wail that rattles the icicles at the cave's mouth, each gust carrying the promise of another brutal day. It is morning now, the sky beyond the entrance a pale grey, streaked with clouds that seem to press the cold deeper into the valley. Your hands, rough from years of gripping spears, tighten around a bone cup, the broth inside long gone, leaving only a greasy aftertaste on your lips, sharp and faintly bitter. Liar's words from last night echo in your mind, a place where the sun lingers, where the ice retreats. The idea feels like a spark, fragile yet persistent, warming your thoughts even as your breath clouds in the frigid air. Around you, the clan stirs, their movements slow, deliberate, as if each motion is a calculation against the cold. Torah, your sister, kneels nearby, her fingers deftly weaving sinew through a hide to patch a tear, the soft scrape of a bone needle a steady rhythm against the wind's chaos. Her dark braid swings as she works, her face set with determination, though her eyes flick to you, searching for reassurance. "Kale," she says, her voice low, barely audible over the fire's crackle, "do you believe it? A land without ice?" Her question hangs, fragile as the morning light, and you hesitate, feeling the weight of every gaze in the cave. The clan gathers, a circle of 12 souls, their faces etched with hunger and hope. Laya sits at the center, her gnarled hands resting on her knees, her presence a quiet anchor. "We cannot stay," she says, her voice like the rustle of dry grass, steady yet worn. "The herds are gone, the wood scarce. The spirits whisper of a path south, where the earth is kind." Her words stir murmurs, a mix of fear and longing. Bren, a wiry hunter with a scar across his cheek, shakes his head, his voice sharp. "South, through the ice fields. We'll freeze before we see grass." His words cut, and you feel the tension ripple, a cold current beneath the fire's warmth. Laya's eyes meet yours, and you sense she expects you to speak, to bridge the divide. You stand, the hide falling from your shoulders, the cold biting your skin like tiny teeth. "I've seen the valley," you say, your voice steady despite the knot in your chest. "The reindeer are fewer each winter. If we stay, we starve. If we go, we might live." Your words are simple, but they carry the weight of truth, grounded in the reality of the last glacial maximum, when humans like your clan, part of the Gravettian culture, faced dwindling resources as ice sheets smothered the land. Archaeological evidence, scattered campsites, dwindling animal bones, shows clans moving south, following rumors of warmer valleys. You feel the clan's eyes on you, their breaths held, and you wonder if your courage is enough to lead them. Before the debate can deepen, a sound cuts through the cave, a low crunch of snow, steady and deliberate, approaching from outside. The clan freezes, hands reaching for spears, eyes darting to the entrance. You grip your flint-tipped spear, its smooth shaft familiar in your palm, and step toward the opening, heart pounding like the distant beat of a drum. The cold air stings your face as you peer into the grey dawn, where a figure emerges from the snow, a lone traveller cloaked in furs, his face shadowed by a hood. His steps are slow, each one sinking into the drift, the crunch of snow loud in the silence. He raises a hand, palm open, a gesture of peace, and calls out, his voice rough but clear, "I seek shelter, and I bring news." The clan parts as you lead the stranger to the fire, his furs dripping melted snow that hisses on the hot stones. He lowers his hood, revealing a weathered face, eyes bright with a spark of something, hope, perhaps, or madness. His name is Varn, a wanderer from a distant clan, and as he warms his hands, the scent of wet fur and pine needles rises, sharp and unfamiliar. "I've seen it," he says, his voice low, drawing every ear. "A land south, beyond the great ice. Rivers that flow, not freeze. Grasses that sway under a warm sun." His words paint a picture, vivid and tantalizing. You imagine the ripple of green fields, the sound of water over stones, the taste of fresh berries bursting on your tongue, sweet and warm, unlike the frozen scraps you know. Varn's tale spreads like fire through dry grass, igniting the clan. Tora leans forward, her hands still, her eyes wide. "What else?" she asks, her voice a mix of awe and hunger. Varn smiles, his teeth stained but strong. "The herds are there, reindeer, horses, even the great beasts with tusks. But the path is long, through valleys where the wind cuts like a blade." He pauses, sipping broth from a gourd you offer, the steam curling around his face. "My clan went south. Some live. Some did not." His words carry a shadow, and you feel the cold creep back, a reminder of the risks. Migration, as later archaeologists would note, was a gamble. Sites like Dolny Vesterness show evidence of clans moving, trading tools and stories, but also graves, markers of those lost to the journey. You step outside again, needing air, the traveller's words heavy in your mind. The snow stretches endless before you, a white sea broken by dark pines, their branches sagging under frost. You touch the bark, rough and sticky with resin, its scent sharp in the cold. The wind carries a faint howl, a wolf, perhaps, or something larger, and you shiver, not just from the cold but from the choice looming. To stay is to cling to the known, to the cave's fragile safety, but to go is to chase a dream through a world that punishes hope. You think of Torah, her fierce spirit, of Lyre, her quiet wisdom, of the clan, your only family. What would it mean to lead them into the unknown? Back inside, the clan buzzes with Varn's tale, voices overlapping like the chatter of birds at dawn. Lyre watches silently, her eyes unreadable, while Torah peppers Varn with questions, her hands gesturing wildly. You sit, the stone floor cold against your legs, and let the fire's warmth brush your face, its crackle a steady pulse. You imagine the south, the rivers Varn described, their sound a soft rush, unlike the brittle snap of ice. But doubt lingers, heavy as the snow outside. What if the journey breaks you? What if the warm land is a lie, a story spun by a desperate man? The day passes in preparation, the clan's energy shifting from debate to action. You help Torah pack hides, their weight heavy in your arms, the coarse fur catching on your fingers. Bren sharpens spears, the scrape of flint against bone a sharp counterpoint to the wind. Lyre sorts dried meat, her hands slow but precise, the faint smell of smoke rising as she works. Each task is a step toward departure, yet each feels like a farewell to the cave, its walls marked with the stories of your kin. You trace a handprint in ochre, its edges blurred by time, and wonder if your journey will leave a mark, or be lost to the ice. As night falls, the fire burns brighter, fed by the last of the wood. Varn sits with you, his presence both comfort and challenge. The path begins at the river's bend, he says, his voice low, but you must cross the ice fields first. His words are a map, incomplete yet compelling, and you feel the clan's eyes on you, waiting for your decision. You look at Torah, her face lit by the flames, and Lyre, her hands still, and know the choice is yours. The wind outside grows quiet, a rare pause, and in that silence you hear your own heartbeat, steady but quick. You lie down, the cold stone a familiar ache, the fire's warmth a fleeting embrace. The clan sleeps, their breaths a soft chorus, but your mind races, painting the south in colors you've never seen. Green, gold, alive. Yet the path to it is a shadow, filled with dangers you cannot name. Tomorrow you will lead the first steps, but tonight you rest, the traveler's words a spark in the dark. What lies beyond the ice fields, and who will you become on the journey? Thank you for walking this frozen path with me, dear listeners. If this tale stirred your heart, please like, share, and comment. What would you risk for a chance at warmth? Subscribe for the next chapter, where the clan's journey begins, and a sign in the snow hints at what awaits. But as the fire dies and the cold creeps closer, a new shadow moves in the night, watching, waiting. The snow crunches under your feet, each step a sharp, grinding sound that echoes in the stillness of the dawn, as if the earth itself protests your passage. You, Kale, lead the clan through a narrow valley, your breath fogging in the frigid air, a faint cloud that disperses like a fleeting dream. The reindeer hide wrapped around your shoulders is heavy with frost, its coarse fur stiff against your neck, scraping your skin with every movement. The cold bites at your fingers, numbing them despite the mittens sewn from hair pelts, their soft texture a distant memory under the ice's relentless grip. The sky above is a pale, unyielding grey, streaked with clouds that seem to press the cold closer, and the distant pines stand like silent sentinels, their branches sagging under snow. The air carries the sharp tang of frozen earth and the faint, acrid scent of pine resin, a reminder of the world's unyielding austerity. It is the third day since your clan left the cave, driven by Vaughan's tales of a warmer south, a land where rivers flow and herds roam. The journey has been grueling, each step through knee-deep drifts a test of will. You glance back at the 12 souls trailing behind. Torah, your sister, her face set with determination, her spear clutched tightly. Laia, the elder, leaning on a staff carved from antler, her breath labored but steady. Bren, the scarred hunter, scanning the horizon with wary eyes. The clan's possessions are bundled in hides, slung across shoulders or dragged on crude sleds of lashed branches. Their wood slick with ice, creaking under the weight. The sound of their scraping mixes with the wind's low moan, a chorus of effort and endurance, and you feel the weight of leadership settle deeper, a cold stone in your chest. You pause to rest in a shallow hollow, sheltered by a rocky outcrop that blocks the worst of the wind. The clan gathers, their faces flushed from cold, and you kneel to kindle a fire, striking flint against pyrite until sparks catch on a nest of dry moss. The flames are weak at first, their warmth a faint kiss against your palms, but they grow, crackling softly, releasing a smoky scent that mingles with the crisp air. Torah distributes strips of dried reindeer meat, their texture tough, the smoky flavor sharp on your tongue, paired with a handful of frozen berries, their tartness a fleeting burst of life. You sip broth from a bone cup, its greasy warmth sliding down your throat, easing the ache in your belly. "This is our strength," Laia says, her voice like the rustle of leaves, as she chews slowly, her eyes distant. "Every bite, every spark, keeps us alive." Survival in the last glacial maximum, as later archaeologists would note, was a matter of meticulous craft. The Gravettian people, your ancestors, were masters of adaptation, their lives woven from the materials of a harsh world. Flint tools, bone needles, hides stitched with sinew. Sites like Pavlov and Dolny Vesternis reveal their ingenuity. Beads carved from mammoth ivory, hearths lined with stones, shelters built from bones and hides. Your clan mirrors this, each task a ritual of endurance. Torah, beside you, works a bone awl, piercing a hide to repair a torn mitten, the soft scrape of bone on leather a steady rhythm. You watch her hands, quick and precise, and feel a surge of pride. At 15 winters, she carries the clan's future in her fingers. The day is spent in labor, each moment a battle against the cold. You hack at a fallen pine with a flint axe, its blade chipping the frozen wood, each strike sending a jolt through your arms, the wood's grain rough under your touch. The scent of pine sap rises, sharp and clean, a contrast to the musty hides you carry. Bren and another hunter, Sura, scout for tracks, their boots sinking into the snow, leaving deep prints that fill quickly with fresh flakes. They return with news of reindeer spoor, faint but promising, and you feel a flicker of hope, though the wind's howl reminds you of the hunt's dangers. Wolves prowl these valleys, their cries a distant echo, and you've seen their tracks, claw marks etched in the ice like warnings. Night falls, and the clan huddles in a makeshift shelter of hides stretched over branches, the structure swaying in the wind. It seems leaking cold that prickles your skin. The fire is small, fed by precious wood, its light painting the shelter's walls with shifting shadows, like the cave paintings you left behind. You lie on a bed of spruce boughs, their needles soft but cold, their faint piney scent a comfort. Sleep is elusive, the ground hard beneath you, the cold seeping through the hides, making your bones ache. Torah curls beside you, her breath warm against your shoulder, her presence a reminder of why you endure. "Kale," she whispers, her voice barely audible over the wind, "what if the south is just more ice?" You don't answer, but her question lingers, a shadow in the dark. Morning brings a new routine. You boil snow in a hide pouch, the steam rising in curls, its warmth a brief caress on your face. The clan eats sparingly, rationing the meat, the hunger a constant gnaw in your gut. Laia teaches the younger ones to weave cord from plant fibers, her hands guiding theirs, the fibers rough and brittle, their faint grassy smell a memory of warmer days. "This kept our mothers alive," she says, her voice steady, and you see the children's eyes widen, their small hands mimicking her motions. "These skills, passed down through generations, are your clan's lifeline, etched into the archaeological record, cordage impressions in clay, tools worn smooth by use. The cold shapes every choice, every moment. You wrap your feet in fresh hides, the fur soft but quickly damp, and check your spear, its flint tip sharp, its shaft worn smooth by your grip. The act is meditative, grounding you, but the wind's howl pulls you back to the present. You lead the clan onward, following Varn's directions toward the river's bend, the snow deeper now, clinging to your legs like a living thing. The air tastes of ice, sharp and clean, and you squint against the glare of sunlight on snow, the world a blinding white broken by dark rocks and distant trees. Each step is a labor, your muscles burning, your breath a steady rhythm against the wind's chaos. Varn walks beside you, his stories a steady drip of hope. "The South has rivers that sing," he says, his voice rough but warm, "and grasses that brush your knees, soft as a child's touch." His words conjure images. You see green fields, feel the warmth of a sun that lingers, hear the rush of water over stones. But his eyes hold a shadow, a flicker of loss, and you wonder what he's left unsaid. The journey has already cost you. One sled broke, its wood splintering with a crack like a bone snapping, forcing you to abandon precious hides. The clan is quieter now, their faces drawn, the cold a constant weight. As dusk falls, you spot a cave in the distance, its mouth a dark promise of shelter. The clan quickens, driven by the need for rest, but as you approach, a sound stops you, a low growl, deep and guttural, rising from the shadows. You grip your spear, its weight reassuring, and squint into the dark, where eyes gleam, reflecting the fading light. The clan freezes, their breaths held, the air thick with the musky scent of fur and danger. A cave lion, its presence a threat etched into the bones of this world, as archaeologists would later find in caves across Europe, where claw marks and human tools tell of desperate encounters. You stand, heart pounding, the cold forgotten in the face of this new peril. Tora's hand brushes yours, her touch warm, grounding, and Lyre's voice whispers behind you, calm but urgent, "Kale, choose quickly. The cave is shelter, but it is not yours alone. Will you fight, flee, or find another way? The journey south has only begun, and already the ice demands its price." Thank you for enduring this frozen path with me, dear listeners. If this tale stirred your heart, please like, share, and comment. What would you do in Kale's place, facing the lion's growl? Subscribe for the next chapter, where the clan's survival hangs in the balance, and a stranger's tale brings new hope and new fears. But as the shadows deepen and the growl grows louder, something else watches from the snow, its intent unknown. The snow stretches before you, a vast, glittering plain under a sky bruised with twilight, its edges tinged with the faint pink of a sun long gone. You, Kale, stand at the mouth of the cave, the cold biting your cheeks, a sharp sting that tightens your skin and makes your breath catch. The reindeer hide across your shoulders is heavy, its fur matted with frost, scraping your neck with each gust of wind that carries the scent of ice and distant pine. The clan huddles inside, the fire's glow a fragile beacon against the dark, its crackle a soft counterpoint to the low growl that lingers in your memory. The cave lion, driven off with spears and shouts, but not forgotten. Your hand grips the flint-tipped spear, its smooth shaft worn by your palm, a reassurance as you scan the horizon, where shadows move, too deliberate to be mere tricks of light. The encounter with the lion was a victory, but a costly one. Bren's arm is bound in hides, blood seeping through from a claw's graze, the coppery smell sharp in the close air of the cave. Tora kneels beside him, her fingers deftly retying the bandage, the coarse sinew rough against her skin, her breath steady despite the worry in her eyes. Laya sits by the fire, her gnarled hands weaving cord from plant fibers, the faint grassy scent rising as she works, her voice a low hum of a song older than memory. The clan is weary, their faces drawn, the journey south wearing them thin like a blade honed too long. Yet Vaughn's tales of a warmer land keep you moving, each step a gamble against the ice that grips the world, as it did 20,000 years ago during the last glacial maximum, when humans like your clan, Gravettian by later naming, forged paths through a frozen Europe. You turn back to the cave, the stone floor cold under your boots, their leather damp and stiff, creaking with each step. The fire's warmth brushes your face, a fleeting caress, and you settle beside Torah, the smoky air thick with the scent of burning pine and drying hides. "We can't stay here," you say, your voice low, carrying the weight of the lion's threat and the dwindling food. Laya nods, her eyes meeting yours, clouded yet sharp. "The river's bend is near," she says, her voice like the rustle of dry leaves. "Vaughn says it leads south, to others who know the way." Her words stir the clan, a ripple of hope and fear, and you feel the responsibility settle heavier, a cold stone in your chest. Dawn breaks, grey and unrelenting, and you lead the clan onward, the snow crunching underfoot, each step a labour that burns your thighs. The river's bend appears, its frozen surface glinting under the weak sun, a ribbon of ice winding through the valley. You pause, the air sharp with a clean metallic tang of snow, and spot movement on the far bank. Figures, cloaked in furs, their silhouettes blurred by falling snow. Your heart quickens, the spear's weight grounding you, and you raise a hand, signalling peace, as Vaughn steps forward, his voice carrying across the ice. "We seek the south," he calls, his words echoing, a sound both bold and vulnerable. The strangers approach, 5 in number, their furs adorned with beads of bone and shell, glinting like stars against the dark pelts. Their leader, a woman with hair braided with feathers, steps forward, her eyes sharp as flint, her hands empty but ready. "I am Silene," she says, her voice clear, accented with a cadence unfamiliar yet musical, like the trill of a distant bird. The air shifts, carrying the scent of their furs, musky, tinged with herbs you don't know, a warm, spicy note that stirs your curiosity. You lower your spear, feeling the clan's eyes on you, and offer your name, your voice steady despite the pulse in your throat. "Kale, of the Cave Clan. We seek the warm lands." Silene's group is different, their ways a mirror and a mystery. Archaeological records of the Gravettian culture show such encounters, trade networks stretching across Europe, beads and tools exchanged, hints of cultural fusion in shared styles of art and craft. Their furs are sewn with intricate patterns, the sinew dyed red with ochre, a sight that draws Torah's gaze, her fingers twitching as if to trace the stitches. They carry spears tipped with bone, not flint, their shafts carved with swirling lines, smooth under your touch when Silene offers one to inspect. The weight is unfamiliar, lighter, and you feel a spark of wonder, tempered by caution. "Your people are skilled," you say, returning the spear, and Silene smiles, a flicker of warmth in the cold. The clans share a fire, built on the river bank, its flames leaping high, casting long shadows that dance across the snow. The warmth is a relief, thawing your fingers, though the wind still bites at your ears, its howl a distant chorus. Silene's people offer food, dried fish, its flavor sharp and salty, bursting on your tongue, a taste so vivid it pulls a gasp from Torah. "How do you make this?" she asks, her voice eager, and Silene's companion, a young man named Torv, explains, his hands gesturing as he describes nets woven from reeds, cast into rivers far from here. The story paints a picture. You imagine water rippling under sunlight, the splash of fish, the feel of wet reeds against your palms, a world so different from your ice-bound valley. Yet differences spark tension. Bren, his arms still bound, eyes the strangers warily, his voice low as he leans toward you. Their ways are strange, Cale. Can we trust them? His words carry the weight of survival, a reminder of the lion, the cold, the hunger. You glance at Silene, who sings softly, her voice a melody that weaves through the fire's crackle, a song of stars and rivers, unfamiliar yet haunting. Lyra listens, her hands still, and whispers, "Their spirits speak to ours, but their path may not be ours." The contrast is stark. Your clan's songs are of hunts and endurance, theirs of waters and skies, and you feel the gap between you, a chasm bridged only by the fire's shared warmth. The exchange deepens as night falls, the sky a deep black studded with stars, their light cold and distant. Silene's people share a drink, poured from a hide pouch, its taste sharp with fermented berries, warming your throat, a heat that contrasts the icy air. You offer them a carved bone pendant, a gift from Lyra, its surface etched with a bison's form, smooth under your fingers. Silene accepts it, her touch lingering, and offers a shell bead, its surface iridescent, catching the firelight like a trapped rainbow. The exchange is a ritual, a bridge of trust, but you sense the fragility. One wrong word, one misstep, and the fire could become a battleground. Tora, ever curious, sits with Torv, learning to weave a net, the reeds rough and pliable, their grassy scent a faint promise of spring. "Your rivers," she says, her voice soft, "do they never freeze?" Torv laughs, a sound like stones tumbling, and describes a land where water flows year-round, a tale that makes your heart ache with longing. But Bren's scowl deepens, his hand resting on his spear, and you feel the tension rise, a current beneath the surface. The clans are allies for now, but survival breeds suspicion, and you wonder how long this peace will hold. As the fire dies, the cold creeps closer, its touch a reminder of the journey ahead. You lie on the snow, a hide beneath you, its fur damp but warm, and listen to the mingled sounds, the fire's last crackle, Silene's soft song, the wind's distant wail. The stars above seem closer now, their light a guide, but the stranger's presence is a puzzle. Will they join you, or part ways? Their skills could ease your path, but their differences might break you. You close your eyes, the cold a weight, the warmth of the clan a fragile shield. Tomorrow you'll decide, but tonight a new sound stirs, a faint cry, human or beast, echoing from the dark. Thank you for sharing this firelit meeting with me, dear listeners. If this tale sparked your imagination, please like, share, and comment. What would you offer a stranger to build trust? Subscribe for the next chapter, where the clans face a choice, and a cry in the night reveals a hidden threat. But as the stars fade and the cold tightens its grip, something moves closer, its purpose unclear. The wind cuts through the valley, a sharp, keening wail that slices at your ears, carrying the faint, musky scent of snow-damp fur and something darker, blood, perhaps, or decay. You, Cale, stand at the edge of the camp, your boots sinking into the snow, their leather stiff and cold, gripping your feet like a vice. The reindeer hide across your shoulders is heavy, its coarse fur crusted with ice, scraping your neck with each gust that whips through the pines, their branches creaking like old bones. The sky is a heavy grey, pressing down, the weak sunlight barely warming your face, its faint glow swallowed by the endless white of the snow. Your spear, its flint tip glinting dully, feels heavier today, a weight matched by the hunger clawing at your belly, a hollow ache that sharpens every thought. It is the 5th day since meeting Silene's clan at the river's bend, and the uneasy alliance holds, though cracks are forming. The cry in the night, a human wail, not a beast's, has left the camp restless, eyes darting to the shadows beyond the fire's reach. You glance back at the shelter, a fragile frame of branches and hides, swaying in the wind, It seems leaking cold that prickles your skin. Inside, the fire burns low, its embers pulsing faintly, casting jagged shadows on the faces of both clans. Tora sits close to the flames, her hands trembling as she chews a strip of dried fish, its salty tang sharp but fleeting, doing little to fill the void in her stomach. Lyre, ever steady, works a bone needle, her fingers slow, the faint scent of smoked hide rising as she stitches. Silene's people huddle nearby, their murmurs a soft hum, their herb-scented furs a contrast to your clan's familiar musk. Hunger is the first shadow. The clan supplies are dwindling, the shared meals meager. A handful of frozen berries, their tartness a cruel tease. Scraps of reindeer meat, tough and stringy, the smoky flavor barely masking its age, and a thin broth, greasy and lukewarm, sipped from bone cups. You feel the hunger in your bones, a dull ache that mirrors the cold, and see it in Tora's eyes, her usual spark dimmed. "Kale," she whispers, her voice barely audible over the fire's crackle. "How much longer can we last?" Her question cuts, and you have no answer, only the memory of Varn's promise, a land of plenty, still days away. Archaeological records of the Gravettian people show this struggle. Bones from sites like Dolny Vesternis reveal malnutrition, teeth worn from chewing tough roots, a testament to survival's cost. The second shadow is betrayal. Bren, his arm still bound from the lion's claw, has grown quieter, his eyes narrowing when Silene's people speak. Last night, you caught him whispering to Sura, another hunter, their voices sharp, their hands gesturing toward the strangers' packs. "They hoard food," Bren mutters now, leaning close, his breath sour with hunger. "I saw Torv hide a pouch. Fish, maybe more." His words sting, sowing doubt, and you feel the weight of leadership tighten, a cold band around your chest. You glance at Silene, her face lit by the fire, her braided hair adorned with feathers that sway gently, and wonder if trust is a luxury you can afford. The Gravettian world was not without conflict. Broken tools and scattered bones at some sites hint at skirmishes, perhaps over resources, a reminder that survival breeds suspicion. You step outside, needing air, the snow crunching underfoot, its cold seeping through your boots, numbing your toes. The valley stretches before you, a white expanse broken by dark pines, their branches heavy with frost, their scent sharp and clean. The wind carries a faint howl, a wolf, distant but close enough to raise the hairs on your neck. You grip your spear, its shaft smooth from years of use, and scan the horizon, where the river's frozen curve glints under the fading light. The cry from last night lingers in your mind, a human voice, desperate, cut short. Was it a lost traveler, or something closer, hidden among you? The thought chills you more than the wind, and you feel the fragility of the clan's bond, a thread stretched thin. Back inside, tension simmers. Silene's people share a song, their voices rising in a haunting melody, like the rush of a river you've never seen, its notes weaving through the fire's crackle. Tora listens, her hands still, her eyes bright with wonder, but Bren's scowl deepens, his hand resting on his spear. "Their songs won't feed us," he mutters, and you feel the air shift, heavy with unspoken accusations. Lyre, her needle paused, speaks softly, her voice a calm anchor. "Hunger makes enemies of friends, Kale. Watch closely." Her words echo the wisdom of her years, and you nod, though doubt gnaws at you, sharp as the hunger in your gut. The third shadow is danger, and it comes at dusk. You're gathering wood, the axe's flint blade chipping at a frozen pine, each strike a jolt through your arms, the wood's grain rough and unyielding. The scent of pine sap rises, sharp and sticky, a faint comfort. Tora works beside you, her breath fogging, her hands red from cold as she stacks branches, their bark brittle under her touch. Suddenly a shout, Sura's voice, sharp and urgent, from the camp. You drop the axe, its thud muffled by snow, and run, your spear in hand, the cold air burning your lungs. The camp is chaos. Silene's people stand, weapons drawn, facing Bren, who holds a pouch, its contents, dried fish, spilled across the snow, their salty scent sharp in the air. "You stole this," Torv accuses, his voice a growl, his bone-tipped spear raised. Bren's face is hard, his eyes defiant. "You hide food while we starve," he snaps, and the clans close ranks, your people behind you, Silene's behind her. You step between them, heart pounding, the cold forgotten in the heat of conflict. "Enough!" you shout, your voice echoing, a desperate bid for peace. Silene meets your eyes, her face unreadable, and lowers her spear, but the tension remains, a blade poised to fall. Such moments, as later archaeologists would note, were common in the Gravettian world, where scarce resources sparked violence, leaving broken bones and shattered tools as evidence. Night falls, the fire weaker now, its light barely reaching the shelter's edges. You sit, the stone floor cold through the hides, and watch the clans, their faces shadowed, their breaths a soft chorus. The spilled fish was shared, a fragile truce, but trust is frayed. Tora curls beside you, her warmth a comfort, and whispers, "What if we're wrong to trust them, Kale?" Her question lingers, unanswered, as you taste the last of the fish, its salt lingering on your tongue, a reminder of the cost of survival. Lyre's song hums faintly, a thread of hope, but the wind outside grows louder, carrying a new sound, a crunch of snow, too steady, too close. You rise, spear in hand, and step into the dark, the cold a slap against your face, the snow's glare blinding under the starlight. The sound grows clearer, footsteps, deliberate, circling the camp. Human or beast, you cannot tell, but the air carries a faint, unfamiliar scent, musk, perhaps, or something sharper, like fear. The clans stir, eyes wide, and Silene joins you, her presence a question. The journey south has bound you, but the shadows are closing in, and survival demands a price you're not sure you can pay. The snow crunches beneath your boots, a sharp, rhythmic sound that marks each step through the valley, the cold biting at your toes through the damp leather, stiff and unyielding. You, Kale, lead the combined clans, yours and Silene's, past the river's bend, the weight of your reindeer hide heavy on your shoulders, its coarse fur crusted with frost, scraping your neck with every gust of wind. The sky above is a deep indigo, studded with stars that glitter like chips of ice, their light casting faint shadows on the snow, a vast white expanse broken by dark pines swaying in the distance. The air carries the clean, metallic tang of snow, laced with the faint musk of the clan's furs, a reminder of the fragile truce forged after last night's confrontation. Your spear, its flint tip glinting, feels reassuring in your hand, though the memory of the circling footsteps, human or beast, lingers, a shadow in your mind. The clans have moved as one since the spilled fish incident, the tension eased by shared hunger and a shared enemy, the cold. You found a sheltered hollow, ringed by rocks and pines, where the wind's howl is muted, a low moan that weaves through the branches. The clans work together now, building a camp, their movements a dance of necessity. You drive a branch into the snow, its wood rough and splintered, the effort warming your arms despite the chill that numbs your fingers. Tora, beside you, stretches hides over the frame, her hands quick, the sinew rough against her palms, the faint smell of smoked leather rising as she ties knots. Silene's people add their skill, weaving reeds into mats, their grassy sent a faint promise of warmer lands, their hands moving with a rhythm unfamiliar yet mesmerizing. The fire at the camp's center burns bright, its flames leaping, casting a warm glow that paints the faces of both clans, their features softened by the light. The crackle of burning pine fills the air, a steady pulse against the wind's distant wail, and the scent of smoke mingles with the sharp tang of boiling broth, its greasy warmth rising from a hide pouch. You sit, the snow-packed ground cold through the hides beneath you, and share a meal. Strips of dried fish from Silene's clan, their salty flavor sharp on your tongue, paired with your clan's frozen berries, their tartness a burst of life. The act of eating together feels sacred, a bond forged in scarcity, as if the fire itself knits you closer. Lyre, her gnarled hands resting on her knees, smiles faintly, her voice like the rustle of dry leaves. A fire shared is a family made, she says, and you feel the truth of it, a warmth deeper than the flames. The Gravettian people, as archaeologists would later call your kin, built communities through necessity, their lives etched into the earth, hearths lined with stones, tools traded across vast distances, and art, ochre paintings, carved beads, shared in moments like this. Your camp mirrors these ancient gatherings, a fragile society born of survival. Silene's people teach you to weave nets, their reeds pliable but rough, their grassy sent a faint echo of rivers unfrozen. Torah, eager, learns quickly, her fingers weaving with torves, their laughter a soft chime that cuts through the cold. You watch, the fire's heat brushing your face, and feel a flicker of hope, though Bren's scowl, his arm still bound, reminds you of the trust still mending. Night deepens, the stars brighter now, their light a cold guide above the camp. The clans gather, their voices rising in stories, a tapestry of sound that weaves through the fire's crackle. Silene tells of a river spirit, her voice a melody, painting a world of flowing waters and green banks, the rush of liquid a sound you can almost hear. You share a tale of the great beasts, your voice low, describing mammoths whose tusks curved like moons, their footsteps shaking the earth, a story rooted in the bones found in Gravettian sites, evidence of hunts that fed clans for winters. The stories blend, a bridge between your worlds, and you feel the camp become a community, its warmth a shield against the ice. Yet the shadow of last night's footsteps lingers. You patrol the camp's edge, the snow soft underfoot, its cold seeping through your boots, the air sharp with pine and frost. The wind carries a faint sound, a rustle too deliberate for branches, and you grip your spear, its shaft smooth, your heart a steady drum. Silene joins you, her presence quiet, her feather-adorned braid swaying, the faint herbal scent of her furs unfamiliar yet grounding. You heard it too, she whispers, her eyes scanning the dark, and you nod, the shared vigil a new bond. The camp's laughter fades behind you, replaced by the silence of the valley, broken only by that rustle, closer now, a promise of danger or discovery. Morning brings work, the clans united in purpose. You carve a spear shaft, the woods grain rough under your flint blade, each scrape a meditation, the pine scent sharp in your nostrils. Torah and Torv weave nets, their hands brushing, their laughter a spark of joy in the cold. Lyre teaches Silene's children to paint with ochre, their small fingers smearing red on a flat stone, the earthy smell mixing with the fire's smoke. The camp hums, a fragile society, but Bren's silence grows heavier, his eyes darting to the stranger's packs, his distrust a shadow that threatens the warmth. You feel the balance shift, the community a delicate thread stretched across the ice. As dusk falls, the clans share a song, your voices blending, a chorus of survival that rises above the wind's howl. The fire's glow paints the camp, a haven in the dark, and you taste the last of the broth, its warmth a fleeting comfort in your throat. But the rustle returns, louder now, circling closer, and you stand, spear in hand, the cold a weight, the community a strength. What watches from the dark, and will it bind you closer or tear you apart? Thank you for sharing this firelit community with me, dear listeners. If this tale warmed your heart, please like, share, and comment. What binds you to others in the face of shadows? Subscribe for the next chapter, where the clans face what lurks beyond, and a choice tests their unity. But as the rustle grows louder, a figure steps into the light, its purpose a mystery. The snow falls softly now, a delicate veil that dusts your shoulders, each flake a fleeting prick of cold against your skin, melting into the coarse reindeer hide that wraps you tightly. You, Cale, stand at the edge of the camp, your boots sinking into the fresh powder, their leather damp and stiff, gripping your feet like a second skin. The valley stretches before you, a vast white canvas under a sky heavy with stars, their light sharp and cold, casting faint shadows that dance across the snow. The air carries the clean, metallic tang of frost, laced with a faint piney scent of the nearby trees, their branches bowing under the weight of ice. Your spear, its flint tip dulled by use, rests heavy in your hand, a companion through the trials of this journey south, where the promise of warmth feels both closer and impossibly far. The figure in the dark last night was no beast but a lone child, shivering, her small form cloaked in tattered furs, her breath a faint cloud in the starlight. You brought her to the fire, her skin cold as the snow, her eyes wide with fear and hunger. Silene named her Mira, after a river in her stories, and now she sleeps, curled beside Tora, her soft breaths a fragile addition to the camp's chorus. The clans, yours and Silene's, have grown closer, their shared fire a bond forged through hunger and danger, yet the child's arrival stirs new questions. Where is her kin, and what drove her to wander alone? The wind howls softly, a low moan that weaves through the pines, carrying the musky scent of fir and the faint, unsettling trace of smoke, not from your fire, but something distant. The camp is a living tapestry, woven from the efforts of both clans. You kneel by the fire, its flames crackling, their warmth a gentle caress against your face, chasing away the cold that numbs your fingers. The scent of burning pine fills the air, sharp and comforting, mingling with the greasy aroma of boiling broth, its steam curling upward like a prayer. Tora distributes strips of dried fish, their salty tang sharp on your tongue, paired with a handful of frozen berries, their tartness a fleeting burst of life. Silene's people add their touch, a paste of crushed roots, its earthy flavor strange but nourishing, spreading warmth through your chest. The act of eating together, once a truce, is now a ritual, a thread tying you to something larger, a community born of survival. Lyre, her gnarled hands steady, carves a bone pendant, its surface etched with a spiral, smooth under her fingers, a gift for Mira. "This is our legacy," she says, her voice like the rustle of dry leaves, her eyes clouded yet piercing. "What we make, what we share, lives beyond us." Her words echo the Gravettian world, where artifacts, beads, tools, paintings, found in sites like Pavlov and Dolny Vesternes speak of a culture that endured through craft and connection. Your clan's tools, flint blades and bone needles, are now joined by Silene's woven nets and dyed sinew, a fusion that strengthens you. You touch the ochre handprint on a nearby rock, its edges blurred by frost, and feel a connection to those who came before, their marks a testament to survival. The clans gather, their voices a soft hum, sharing stories that weave a shared history. Silene speaks of a river that sings, its waters shaping her people's songs, a tale rooted in the trade networks of the Gravettian era, where ideas flowed like rivers across Europe. You tell of the great beasts, their tusks curving like moons, a story etched in the mammoth bones found in ancient camps. Tora, her braid swinging, teaches Mira to weave cord, the fibers rough and grassy, their scent a faint echo of spring. The child's small hands fumble, but her laugh, soft and clear, is a spark in the cold, binding the clans tighter. Yet Bren, his arm healing but his trust thin, watches silently, his eyes darting to the horizon, where the smoke's faint scent lingers. The day is spent in labor, each task a step toward permanence. You sharpen a flint blade, its edge biting your thumb, the pain sharp but grounding, the stone's cold surface smooth under your touch. Silene's people build a windbreak, their reeds woven tight, their grassy smell a contrast to the pine's sharpness. The camp grows, a fragile village, its shelters stronger now, their hides taut against the wind's pull. Archaeological evidence shows such camps, temporary yet vital, where clans shared tools and knowledge, leaving behind hearths and carved bones. Your camp mirrors this, a society forged in the ice, its legacy in the nets, the pendants, the stories shared by firelight. Night falls, the stars brighter, their light a cold guide. The fire's glow paints the camp, its warmth a shield against the dark, but the distant smoke grows stronger, its acrid scent cutting through the pine. You patrol with Silene, the snow soft underfoot, its cold seeping through your boots, the wind carrying a faint crackle, not your fire, but another, hidden in the valley. "Someone's out there," Silene whispers, her breath warm, her eyes sharp, and you nod, the spear's weight steady in your hand. The clans are a community now, but the world beyond is vast, and not all fires are friendly. What legacy will you leave if the shadows close in? The wind has softened, no longer a biting howl but a gentle sigh, brushing your face with a warmth that feels foreign, like a forgotten memory stirring in your bones. You, Cale, stand on a rise overlooking a valley, the snow thinning to reveal patches of dark earth, speckled with green blades that sway under a sun that lingers longer than you've ever known. Your reindeer hide, once heavy with frost, hangs loose, its coarse fur warm against your shoulders, the familiar scrape softened by the air's new gentleness. The scent of damp soil rises, rich and earthy, laced with a faint sweetness of budding grass, a stark contrast to the metallic tang of ice that has defined your life. Below, the valley hums with life. A river glints, its surface rippling under the sunlight, its soft rush a song that fills the air, blending with the distant calls of birds, their notes sharp and unfamiliar. The clans, yours and Silene's, have reached the south, the land Varn promised, after weeks of trudging through snow, hunger, and shadows. The glow on the horizon, that acrid smoke from the last night, was no enemy but a sign. Another clan's fire, a beacon in the dark, guiding you to this place. Your boots, worn and damp, sink into the soft earth, a sensation so different from the unyielding snow that it startles you, grounding you in this new reality. Your spear, its flint tip chipped from use, rests against a rock, its smooth shaft warm under your palm, a relic of the journey now quiet in this moment of arrival. Tora stands beside you, her braid loose, her eyes wide as she takes in the valley, her breath quick with wonder. "Cale," she whispers, her voice soft over the river's murmur, "is this home?" The camp below is alive, a tapestry woven from both clans' hands. Hides stretch over frames of lashed branches, their leather taut, the faint smell of smoke and herbs rising as Silene's people add their woven mats, their grassy scent a reminder of their rivers. The fire at the center burns bright, its flames leaping, casting a golden glow on faces no longer drawn with hunger. You kneel by it, the heat a warm caress against your cheeks, chasing away the memory of cold that once numbed your bones. The air carries the savory aroma of roasting meat, a young deer felled by Bren and Torv, its flesh sizzling, its flavor rich and warm on your tongue, paired with roots dug from the soft earth, their earthy taste a gift of this new land. Lyre, her gnarled hands steady, passes a bone cup of fermented berry drink, its sharp sweetness spreading warmth through your chest, a celebration of survival. This valley, as archaeologists would later uncover, was a refuge during the last glacial maximum, a place where Gravettian clans settled, their lives etched into the earth, hearths lined with stones, tools of flint and bone, beads of shell and ivory traded across vast distances. Your camp mirrors these ancient sites, a testament to adaptation. Silene's people teach you to fish with nets, the reeds rough in your hands, their splash in the river a new rhythm, the water's cool touch a shock after years of ice. Tora, her fingers deft, carves a bone pendant for Mira, the child from the snow, its spiral design smooth under her touch, a gift that binds her to the clan. Mira laughs, her voice a clear note, her small hands weaving cord with lyre, the grassy scent of the fibers mingling with the fire's smoke. The clan's stories blend, a legacy taking root. You share tales of the great beasts, their tusks curving like moons, rooted in the mammoth bones found in Gravettian camps, while Silene sings of rivers that never freeze, her melody weaving through the fire's crackle. Bren, his arm healed, tells of the lion's defeat, his voice softer now, his trust mended by shared labor. The stories are more than memory. They're a bridge to the future, like the ochre paintings on the cave walls you left behind, their handprints and bison shapes a mark of your people. Here you paint on flat stones, the ochre's earthy smell grounding you, the red smears a promise to those who'll come after. Yet the journey's cost lingers. You walk the valley's edge, the grass soft underfoot, its blades brushing your legs, a sensation so gentle it feels like a dream. The river's rush fills the air, but a faint unease stirs, the memory of the child's lone cry, the smoke that led you here. Silene joins you, her feather-adorned braids swaying, the herbal scent of her furs familiar now. This land is kind, she says, her voice steady, but others will come, seeking it too. Her words echo the Gravettian world, where fertile valleys drew clans, leaving traces of trade and conflict in scattered tools and broken bones. You nod, the spear's weight a reminder of vigilance, the warmth of this land a fragile gift. Night falls, the stars bright, their light a guide across time. The fire's glow paints the camp, its warmth a haven, and you lie on a bed of grass, its softness a stark contrast to the stone of the cave. The clan's voices rise, a song of rivers and hunts, a chorus that binds you. You taste the last of the deer, its richness lingering, and feel the weight of survival lift, replaced by a quiet hope. This valley is home, for now, its legacy in the nets, the pendants, the stories shared. But as you drift toward sleep, the river's song shifts, a faint discord, a ripple, too steady, too close, hinting at something moving in the dark. Thank you for walking this final path with me, dear listeners. If this tale stirred your heart, please like, share, and comment. What legacy will you leave in your own story? Your world, warm and lit by modern light, carries echoes of Kale's journey. In the food you share, the stories you tell, the communities you build. Subscribe for more tales that bridge past and present. But as the clans sleep under the stars, the river whispers a new secret, one that may yet call them to rise.